she did a great job of writing this all down. You guys can read, so I'm not going to read it. But basically, we bled over a lot in the process. I'm interested to hear what you guys ended up saying, you know, because it all blends together. All this stuff is concentric circles, is the way Carol put it. And we kind of keyed on a few things with personas. Different people said it different ways, but you know, how does the CFO look at it versus the actual user look at it versus the manager look at it, and it devolves into different dashboards. You know, or it could be the same dashboard that is drillable, that you can dive down into the details if you want to. But you know, the lady on the phone just talked about. It's like, as me as the guy creating it, I want to make a shiny toy. And I have lots of tools to do that with. But it's like Steve pointed out, sometimes it's just a simple sentence. It doesn't have to be super complicated and look sexy. It can be very simple. It can be a box with a number, if that's what answers the question. So we talked a lot about, you know, how do you get this going? And it takes a ton of time. And nobody wants to spend the time up front, but it'll pay off in the long run. You're sitting in a room trying to figure out what they want versus what they're telling you, because they'll tell you one thing, but that doesn't really answer the question they're getting at. Or you're answering a question in a room full of CEO and high-level people, but they're not the ones that are actually going to use it. So creating dashboards, it's what it's all about for visualization. And then we talked about tools that you can use, and there's all kinds of tools out there. Some are better than the others. What am I missing? That's the summary. Good? Yeah. All right. Next.
Any questions? Any comments? All right.
Hey, I got something for you. On the image, you guys are reversed.
Oh, I'm talking backwards?
No, it's the whiteboard is reversed.
Yes, you're talking backwards.
Let's see the picture, the whiteboard maybe, then we can send out the notes.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So we'll send the picture out later.
I think, the thing I think is draining on that board, that everyone wants a dashboard problem. I've worked at companies where that's an issue, where like the dashboard feels like the outcome, and it's not. It's what do you do with the data that's on the dashboard? So it's you have to walk a tightrope when when the company starts getting into that culture of the dashboard, like dashboards are in vogue. So when you get to that point where everybody does become data savvy enough that they know dashboards are useful, you have to really start treading very carefully about not creating too many dashboards where everybody wants their own dashboard. Yeah. And you have to start reminding people that that's not the outcome. The outcome is, what do you do once you got the dashboard? Because I've worked in that world, and it's a terrifying world.
But in healthcare, every single customer has a dashboard, right?
No, every single customer has a piece of paper that they look at every day. Yeah. And getting them to think that the paper isn't, like, you have to actually use computers. That's the first hurdle we're working on. Like, I mean, we're not even to the love of dashboards yet, which is, that's an even scarier world. I would love to be in that world right now. but that's a kind of a different danger zone that, that's a problem that I think is also worth kind of keeping in mind, that using the data correctly is really important.
I'd like to add, I think somebody said that resonates with me is that we're focusing on, in terms of success metrics, is not stopping defining success at we've now produced the data and it's visible. Yeah. Is that data usable? Is it facilitating a process or answering a question, right?
I think our takeaway was, one of our bigger takeaways was that just like in HCDAgile or design in general, what are we trying to solve? So who are we solving for? What are we solving? Why are we making this visualization, whether it's a sentence structure with numbers or a nice big graphic or a dashboard for that reason? Is it solving the problem that would lay it out? So I think we talked about prototyping some of this data, whether it's using PowerPoint or just putting in dummy visualizations to get those conversations going. Make sure we answer those questions just like we would with any other piece of design.
And even in pure data situations where we're building an API, and it's not getting all the way to a dashboard of some type, these best practices of that back end of human-centered design, that research still seems to shine through.